to the Why Not Us podcast. Welcome back. Episode 15 of the Why Not Us podcast. Like the Why Not Us t-shirt by Jace over there. It's looking good.
Thank you.
Yes. The merch flowing around today. I got myself this sweatshirt. Beautiful sweatshirt.
It is. It's comfy too. It's a comfy sweatshirt.
Yes, I will wear this one a lot.
Yes.
Well, we're coming to you Sunday after BYU went on the road to Cincinnati, won the game 26-14, one game closer to locking up that Big 12 championship bid and potentially the playoff spot. Pretty good game overall. I mean, first half was rocky, kind of a close game. I would say most of the fourth quarter was the same, although it never really felt like it was out of reach. Defense played pretty well. I mean, I'm happy with the win at this point. Wins are wins, and that's what we need to get to the playoff. But I'll leave it over to you guys. Thoughts on the game?
Go ahead, Jason.
So, I'll be the first to raise my hand and say I was probably more negative this game than I have been all year combined. And I've been trying to dissect why. And I think it's because we're hyper-focused on the college football potential playoff spots and the reality that there is a chance that if we go in and lose in the Big 12 championship game, that we are not in the college football playoff, which I think is just without any other context whatsoever, that is absurd. You're a Power 4 conference and you get one person in and the other person's out because they lost in the conference championship game. You might as well just be honest with the country and say there's a Power 2 conference, a G2 sub-conferences, and then the group of 6 or whatever after that, because the bias is ridiculous. So with that hyper-focus on that, I am so fixated on style points and beating teams by more than what we should that I was extremely negative, and I shouldn't have been. Because the reality is I've been waiting my entire BYU fandom to be in the position that we're at right now. And I'm mad. Like, what? There's no way. So hand up. I was negative. I take it all back. I still have an opinion with style points. There's no question there, but I'm going to reel it in a little bit and just be grateful with where we're at. We are 10-1. I think the stat was that we've been 10 wins or something only so many times. I think it was like 10 times maybe total in our history, and it's been 4 times under Kalani Sitake. Like, the guy has brought BYU to new heights. I freaking love that coach, and I'm just grateful with where we're at.
Yeah. So, and the style points thing is so subjective too. Anyway, focus a little bit on the game here because we could probably go on and we'll probably bring it up later, the college football playoff. But LJ Martin is a freaking stud.
Mm-hmm.
The guy runs for over 200 yards. He's just plowing people over. He gets dinged late in the game. It's 3rd and 2. Grabs Enoch Nawahine out of the huddle after he started walking off. It's like going, I am not coming out of the game. He goes out and gets us a first down. I think the rush game was just outstanding. Bear Bachmeier is a stud. He didn't have a great game passing, but we didn't need it. Guy gets dinged on the one. It looked like he took a stinger on his shoulder on that one run when he was over on the bench. Comes back out and plays. Chase Roberts pulls himself out of the game because he's not feeling right. But yeah, we still, do a great job on offense. Defensive, we let them go down, but man, our red zone defense is just spectacular. And you can say whatever you want, all the naysayers, but I know Cincinnati missed 3 field goals, but we forced them to kick 3 field goals. You're not going to make them all. And we stop them on 4th and 1 on the 3-yard line for no gain. We tackled them at the line of scrimmage. So a lot of positive coming out of the game. And I'm Jace, what you were saying, I felt a little bit of that, but I'm just like going, just win, baby. Just win. It's a sad day when you have to think you have to have style points when you're a Power Four conference team and you're a 10-1 to impress some committee to try to get in. I mean, that's not athletics or sports. That's just pure ludicrousy that you have to do that. But I'm with you. Don't let it taint what we're doing here. This is just a fun season, and we got a great team. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, and at the end of the day, I kind of texted to both of you after the game. Someone would have told me Saturday morning that we walk out of Cincinnati with a 2-touchdown win. I'll take it every time.
Amen.
And the truth of the matter is, we went on the road to Cincinnati, who's a great football team, 7-4. I mean, they've had a real shot at the conference championship this year. And we went in and we won by 2 touchdowns. It ended up being 12 points, but that would have been two touchdowns for them to get back in the game. So we go in as 2.5 3-point favorites and do that. I mean, what else are we supposed to do at that point? You know what I mean? You come in and you cover the spread, you win by 2 scores on the road. I think that's everything we needed to do. And just a comment on LJ Martin. So we had 392 total yards. He accounted for 266 of those.
Yeah.
The guy was a dog, man.
Beast mode. The guy was incredible.
And from the first play of the game, the first run of the game, I would just thought to myself, as soon as he hit the hole, I was like, LJ is here to play tonight. I mean, he ran with something I've never seen him play with before. And went over 1,000 yards. The other highlight from the game, Bear Bachmeier, now the record holder for single season rushing touchdowns at 11, ahead of Taysom Hill, Steve Young, and Zach Wilson. That is some
good company. Yeah,
right there.
Good company.
So a lot of positives to take out of the game. We got the job done and won it, and we could have maybe kept our foot on the gas, although. The run game was what was successful. Yeah. So just keep running it. I know with Bear, I don't know how that injury, or if it was an injury or whatever. Maybe you're wanting to hold him back a little bit. Although he did make a run late in the game, that was a little nerve-wracking. But so moving into the last game of the season, playoffs coming up. It'll be interesting to see where we go in the rankings, and I think this is where the conversation's going to go. We've got to be in the top 10. I think after UCF, we've got to be in the top 10. And if we get there, I think they'll keep us in. If we make it a close game at Texas Tech, obviously if we win, it doesn't matter. We're in. But yeah, anyway, I'm changing my tune a little bit this week.
Yeah, and I mean, I still think that it's absurd enough to keep us out that I still have this inkling in the back of my head that if we make it to the conference championship, we're in the college football playoff. There's no way that the committee is that stupid. But then, you just hear everybody talking, ESPN analysts talking, podcasts, Big 12 or Big Noon Kickoff, all of these people are talking, and the only thing that they're saying is that BYU has to win out. And that's where I agree with Kalani's approach to all of it a little bit, is just at the end of the day, you got to win football games. That's how you get in. The caveat to that, and what is so gosh dang frustrating about being a BYU fan, is you have an Alabama team, for example, that can go and lose 2 to 3 games, and it feels like the committee is fighting for them to be in the college football playoff, as opposed to us, they're fighting for us to be out of it any chance that they can.
Yes.
Yep. Amen.
And I don't think you can convince me otherwise. It's ridiculous.
No. Well, and great example is Notre Dame. They're hanging their hat on Notre Dame's 2 good losses. Mm-hmm. And, I ranted about that last week, but I am so sick of the good loss. It is a loss. It is not a good loss. Now, like Houston said, you could have a bad loss if you're highly ranked and a team beats you that should not beat you and they're not a good team. That's it. But don't sit here and tell me that we're going to rank you higher because you lost 2 games, So let's go out and schedule a couple games and lose them, and then we can have the argument. We've got 2 good losses, so you need to rank us higher than a team that only has 1 loss because we have 2. That argument does. And the thing that didn't help us this week was, speaking of style points, freaking Notre Dame putting up 70 on Syracuse. Syracuse is absolutely horrible. That's the other thing. Let's look at record of the teams that you're winning against and playing against. Notre Dame has played, outside of their 2 good losses, they have played one of the weakest schedules in the country. So their strength of schedule comes up with their 2 good losses, and everybody keeps looking at that, but you still lost the game. It's 70 to whatever. It was we were watching the scores on the ticker, and
it was 42-0 after the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, that's horrible. And
oh
then,
my gosh,
and
I don't
then
know how you do that.
I don't either.
I couldn't even do that on a video game.
No, I mean, that's horrible. And then the ticker was scrolling the scores, and Ohio State playing Rutgers, and Melinda goes, thinking that Rutgers was some sister of the poor team that Ohio State was playing. And I'm like, oh no, that's a conference game.
It's a conference game.
I said, that's a freaking conference game. That tells you how weak the Big Ten is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a conference game, and Rutgers can't even score more than 10 points. So anyway, I could go on and on and on. But so you got to look at the big pictures. But like we said last week, I just don't have any faith in the college football playoff committee, because they stacked the deck against us when they dropped us 5 spots for a loss to a number 7 team in the country. That almost sealed our fate right there. There's a few games this week that if they go our way will help us, but bottom line, we just got to win out.
Well, and that's the crappy part, is we got to go win out. I mean, so I'm just looking at the rankings right now, and if nothing will change this week.
No,
everybody won in the top 10, or in the top 12. So everything will stay exactly as it is right now as far as the playoff race goes. That means we've got to have either Georgia Tech win a game, or I don't even know who's playing anybody at this point.
Alabama,
Auburn. So, I mean, that's probably our best shot, is having Auburn beat Alabama. Maybe Georgia Tech can pull off the upset.
Washington's playing at home against Oregon. That's a possibility.
True. Yeah. I mean, so there again, though, if a number 4 Georgia loses and that they go to 10-2, they're above BYU still.
Yep.
Alabama's 8-2, Notre Dame 8-2, Oklahoma 8-2, all above 9-1 BYU.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, as much as I said earlier that maybe there's a chance they get in, we'd have to have some serious upsets. We'd have to have Oregon lose, Alabama lose, and then that would kind of give us the in no matter what.
Remind me, because I can't remember. I remember watching the show last year, but were the picks and the selections pretty accurate with the ranking system when they actually set up the playoffs last year? Like, was it pretty spot on, or was there some movement? Because I could see a world where, Alabama, for whatever reason, might be ranked a little bit higher, but at the end of the day, they may put BYU in over a person ahead of them or whatever. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, so that will not happen. What the rankings are is who's in.
Got it.
So the only thing that'll change really is if you're going to not punish teams for their conference championship, it's vying for seeding. Who's going to get the number 1, 2, 3, 4 spot?
Got it.
After that. So if we're not in the top 10 going into the conference championship game, it's do or die.
We have to win. Yeah.
Yep.
And right now,
I don't want to discount us. I think we have a shot against Tech, and I know we'll talk a lot about that next week. We got to go beat UCF, but we're operating under the assumption that we're going to go in and lose the conference championship game, and that would keep us out. I think, and I'm going to put it out there, that we have a really good shot to win.
I agree with that 100%.
Agree 100%.
So we'll definitely we'll dive into that next week, but stay tuned for that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing, is we're all this is kind of just planning for the worst case scenario.
Exactly.
Is that we don't beat Texas Tech. I think we can. I really think we can. I just you would love to get the benefit of the doubt as a 1-loss regular season team, and you can't get into the playoffs is insane to me.
Insane.
Absolutely
in a Power 4
insane.
Conference. If we were independent, then I'd be like, it is what it is. You need to get into a conference, right? But we got into the freaking conference, a Power 4 conference, elite teams, and we've beat them. And we've beat them 2 years in a row, and that needs to be taken into account. I don't care how close the margins have been. We have won games, and we deserve it. Like, if it's anybody else, if it's Utah, we're not having this conversation.
No, Utah's in the top 7 with 1 loss.
That is just what is so gosh dang frustrating about it all, is it is because it's BYU, period.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Oregon Yeah, the Oregon one is another one that I just don't understand. I mean, I know they have one loss, but dude, it's just not fair, and that's what's so frustrating, you know. So
Right.
let me just do this, and I want to move on to some other stuff because this 3 weeks in a row of us just moaning about freaking playoff talk. But so the 16th team in the country as of last week's playoff ranking is Georgia Tech. Then you got USC, who will probably move out. But then there's Vanderbilt, Miami, Utah, BYU up to number 10. Alabama's number 10. I think there's an argument to be made that Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, Miami, Utah all deserve to be in a playoff.
100%.
And so I will die on this hill until we get there. 16 teams is the perfect number. It's what the NFL does. It's what the FCS does. I don't know why we can't do 16. Then all of these conversations are over about who's getting in and who shouldn't get in, because after Georgia Tech, you have 7-3 Texas, doesn't deserve to be in. Michigan 8-2, Virginia 9-2, and then you have 3 lost teams all the way down.
Yep.
There's no longer this problem of does a 3-loss this team better than a 1-loss this team. If you go to 16, it's clear. There's going to be a clear cutoff on who deserves to be in and who doesn't.
Yeah.
And then and then we play it on the field. As much as I hate to say it, and I know Utah struggled against Kansas State in a crazy game with 100 points, Utah could beat any of the teams in the top 10 just as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think those teams deserve a shot, and even Georgia Tech.
Yep.
So anyway, sorry.
No, it'll be good, and we're definitely cheering for some of those people because we can talk about that all day long. But here's the ironic thing about it all. Okay, and this is what goes against the Big 12 in our argument and our demand for respect. There is, for whatever reason, and you can say it's because they're propped up and they get the opportunities and they're in and yada yada yada. For whatever reason, a Big 10 team or a SEC team usually ends up being a national championship, which is why they prioritize it. A SEC team is usually the one that pulls out games that they need to win. It's not going to be a surprise to anybody if Georgia pulls out a win this weekend against Georgia Tech. And that's where I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. That's where the bias comes in, right? The SEC teams that are on the top just find ways to win. Our argument is that we are doing the same thing. And so do we schedule more SEC teams in the non-conference to try to prove that? Like what does BYU need to do? Obviously, the answer is to get into the college football playoff and make a difference and to go and win games. That's the answer for any Big 12 team, honestly. You can't be a TCU and go and lose by 50 in the Natty. Like, you just can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Arizona State, I think, did good last year. They
should have beat Texas.
Should have won that game. Got hosed on the call.
That was a good resume-building year for the Big 12. And I think if we can get 2 teams in again and they go win, we're not having this conversation very much longer, because now we're a conference that is competing year in and year out in the college football playoff and should be respected.
Yeah, I agree.
100%. Yeah. No, and so here's kind of the sad thing with 12, going back to Houston's point, going to 16. And I'm glad that there's the group of 5 or group of 6, whatever we're calling it now, team getting in there, because that's where we were, and I don't want to exclude them. But that team is not going to be a good team this year. And
it'll be Tulane or somebody.
Yeah,
and then the ACC is weak this year, and yes, a conference champion should get in there. Those 2 teams will get beat in the first round probably handily. So again, we want the playoff to be the top teams, the best teams. We're not going to get the best teams basically in this format. To Houston's point, we're not going to get it. And 5 SEC teams does not mean we're getting the best teams in there. It just means that there's SEC bias, and we're going to put those many teams in there. And Jay's kind of going back to your point, though. When you put enough Big 10 and SEC teams in there, statistically, the odds are you're going to win.
Exactly. Right? You put one team from every other conference.
Yeah, 1 loss and you're gone. You have 4 or 5 teams from the other conferences. Odds are you're going to win, because statistically speaking, you've got a great shot at doing it because you've got more teams than anybody else in there.
Right.
So, anyway, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And so this, the promise, this is the last thing. And let's move on. I will never understand, and I don't obviously make money from ESPN and all this stuff, but I will never understand the conversation that surrounds, let's put the best teams in for viewership. We want the best ratings. So that's why we need to choose, we need to handpick who the best teams are so we have the best product. And my biggest argument to that is one of the most watched sporting events in the country is NCAA basketball, March Madness. There are now 68 teams that play with play-in games that get into that.
Yeah.
And there are teams who are 5th, 6th in the Big 12 that maybe don't get in. And there are teams that are just out there in some league, who knows what league, in the Northeast region that get into the playoff. The Big 12 team is better than those teams, but that's not the goal of this tournament, is to hand select who we think the best teams are.
Yeah.
You have criteria for tournament entry, and there's some selection that takes place, but you have criteria for tournament entry, and you let the chaos ensue. That's why people love to watch it. And I know basketball is a different animal. It's a little easier to, I shouldn't say easier, more common to have an upset because of basketball matchups. The physicality of football doesn't really play into that. But at the same time, it's exciting. Everyone and their dog is filling out a bracket, watching basketball games.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will never understand the argument that we need to handpick and put the best product on the field. People want to see the Cinderella. They want to see the underdog. They want to see the chaos of a playoff.
Yeah.
So give us 16 teams.
That's why you're 16 teams. It solves that problem, because you have the criteria aspect of it that takes the opinion and the bias out of it, right? You take ideally it's going to be your conference players, right? So conference champs automatically in, the teams who are runner-ups automatically in. And then after that, like to your point, Hughes, you're dealing with teams that are 2, 3, maybe even 4 losses at that point. That's when you can go into, okay, who's lost to who's done this, that, and the other. And that way you can have some sort of selection process at that point. But get the criteria in place, especially for the Power 4 conferences, and lock those in. I think 16 teams solves that problem.
Yeah.
Because in that situation, the regular season play matters at that point.
Yes.
You getting to the conference championship now matters.
Yep.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with all that. And I don't want to see nobody. Well, I'll have to rephrase that. Outside of Alabama and Georgia, nobody wants to see a 9 or a 3-loss SEC team play in the playoffs. Nobody. I don't want to watch Texas. I don't want to watch Vanderbilt. I don't want to see those. It's not entertaining football to see a 3-loss team with your argument that we're the best conference and you don't deserve it.
Yep, I agree. With that said, we go kill Central Florida this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that we're going to spend too much time on that. They did lose to Oklahoma State, who is a step above maybe Idaho State this year.
They beat Oklahoma State on a last-second field goal.
Oh, did they? I missed the end of that game.
17-14.
Okay. All right. So UCF has a win over an FCS team in Oklahoma State.
Yes.
And I just think the boys at home in Provo, this is your statement. This game is the statement win right here. We go in and win by a huge amount, and we give our last FU to the committee before we go into the conference championship. So
here's my prediction. I don't think we win big, and I think it's on purpose. I think that we go and do the bare minimum necessary to win, but we reel it in and we see second stringers in probably quicker than you normally would. And I think we, without saying it out loud, are prepping for Tech this week. They're gonna say every team's great and you're prepping for UCF, yada yada yada. I think we go in and we probably maybe win by 2 touchdowns, in my opinion.
I'll disagree with you on that one, and here's why. You can't prep for the game with that mindset, or you're going to lose.
It's true.
They're going to go in and prep for the game with the mindset we're going to go in and win. However, where I do agree with you is I think that we will be so far ahead that midway through the third quarter, you will see players out of the game that are starters. If we play like we've played the last 2 weeks, I think we beat UCF by 30. I just coming to Provo, playing in the cold. They're playing for a bowl eligibility, but I just don't see any world if we play like we've played that they're within 3 scores.
Just don't let them score 3 or 4 touchdowns like we did last year. Like,
I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't. Yeah, with our defense, I would not be shocked to see less than 10 points for UCF this week, unless we garbage time in the fourth quarter. But our second team has gone out and studded up the last couple times they've had a chance. They've played really well, just like the TCU game. That last drive they went out there and they stopped them. So I agree with one point, Jason. The other, that senior day, they're going to go out. They'll be focused. But I do think the score will be a wide enough margin. You'll see some backups in there, which
I hope so.
We would need that because your conference championship game is the next week.
Yeah.
There's no break.
No break in between.
You going to the game this weekend, G?
To be determined. I don't know. That would be. I mean, that's a 5 a.m. departure.
When's the kickoff?
11 a.m.
11. Yeah, it's an 11 o'clock kickoff. It's a cold one. I think the high is supposed to be 42.
Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah, I just think the Orlando boys coming to Provo in the altitude in the cold, those lungs are going to be burning by the first quarter.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
And they'll pack it in the cold. They'll get out there.
All right. Well, I love it. I mean, I would love to talk more BYU specific, maybe stats, plays, other stuff like that. I mean, we could go on forever. This playoff thing, man, is just driving me crazy. So let's just win. And let's win the Big 12.
Go win.
So here's my politically incorrect statement, and we'll move on from this. So, there was another F the Mormons chance at Cincinnati.
Yeah, I did hear that.
After we donate 27,000 pounds of food to their on-campus pantry for them. So here's more I'm going with that is the College Football Playoff Committee is silently saying F the Mormons with the way they're treating BYU.
Yes, 100%.
It's the silent, passive-aggressive. We're going to stick it to the Cougs.
That's true. Wow. Yeah. Well, let's get over into Pick'ems. I do want one shout out, Dave Portnoy.
Yes.
Big BYU fan all of a sudden.
Yes, he is.
He will be introducing the cut this week. So they showed a little clip of him.
I just have to make one statement on that it was, we last week talked about the cupcake for the SEC. Did you see that on the Big Noon Kickoff? He literally brought out a plate of cupcakes and went off on the SEC playing all these patsy teams and having bye weeks at the end of the year when everybody else is playing for the conference championship, all these tough games. He spent about a 5-minute rant on the SEC's BS cupcake schedules. I love it.
I like Oregon's coach's comments too. We compete. He basically was like, we competed this week. We didn't play Chattanooga State like somebody else.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, hopefully we can just keep the conversation going and expose this for what it is and make it right. But all right, without further ado, let's head over to the Pick'ems. All right. Another edition of the College Pick'ems. Jace, hit us up with that tally, and then, Dad, you'll run us through the games.
Yes, sir. So, another kind of, I'm narrowing the margin down a little bit after this week. I had a big one with my upset. I had Georgia Tech, I had the Utah State at Fresno State. Fresno State was 2.5-point favorite, and I picked Utah State to win outright, and they did. So that helped. So our totals after it all, Houston at 43 points, Jace at 42 points, and Gordon at 37 points. Some of the differences there was Houston and Gordon had TCU beating Houston, which they did. And then Gordon had Colorado beating Arizona State, which they did not. Me and Houston won that one. And then Houston taking the Oklahoma over Missouri one as well. So great week of college football. Pick'ems it was kind of a tough one because, we had Chattanooga State on a lot of the freaking schedules. So it was a good one, but excited for this week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've got out on the limb a little bit on some of these because I was already behind. So, there'll be a few going out on the limb again this week, but it's okay.
Yeah.
They did not win one for the Gipper in Colorado. They played tough for about 3 quarters and then they just got smashed.
Which sucks because a Colorado win would have sealed our Big 12 championship.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah, I think Colorado's mailed it in. Well, the first game this week, this is this should be a really good game. Arizona at Arizona State. This is their rivalry game down there, and Arizona has been on a heater,
Yes,
and
they
they just destroyed Baylor last week. Arizona State's playing good too. I just think that Arizona is. I've been picking them the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm picking them again. I think Arizona, even though it's at Arizona State, the way their defense is playing and the way the offense is scoring. I think the difference in the game will be Arizona's defense is better than anybody's given them credit for. Their pass defense is stout and the run defense is pretty good. So give me the Wildcats of Arizona in that game.
Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna go opposite. Actually, I'm gonna take the Sun Devils. It is at Arizona State. I think Dillingham and his antics are enough to get the team fired up. He'll spin some way to get all those psycho Sun Devils ready for this game and figure out how they can hate Arizona. Rivalry game too, so you kind of got to throw everything else out the window. Give me the douchebag Dillingham down there.
I'm going with Gordon on this one. I think Arizona's on an absolute heater. They are a phenomenal football team. I love Fafita. He's a great quarterback. They've got a lot of talent, and their defense, to Gordon's point, is pretty stellar. And so I think that they're gonna surprise some people. Because if I remember right, I think, is it Arizona or Arizona State that's in the top 25 now in the AP? I think Arizona State is in the
It'd have
top
to
25
be
now.
if it was one of them, it'd probably be. I think Arizona deserves it. It's probably Arizona
Yeah,
State.
You're
I think they
talking
do
the
too.
AP poll.
Yeah, just the AP, which, I mean, the college football might do that as well, but I know in the AP poll, one of them
Yeah,
cracked
I
the top
don't.
25 if I thought.
No, Arizona State is 26.
Got
There you
it.
go.
Got
They're
it.
right
Okay.
outside.
So they
Yep,
were
right outside.
close.
Yep.
Anyways, I think Arizona deserves to be a top 25 team, and they're going to go in and prove it. So
Yeah.
I
Yep.
like it.
And just a side note on that, I mean, everybody talking smack on BYU for going to double overtime against Arizona. Arizona, what are they, 8 wins now? 7 wins?
Eight,
7,
8-3, 8-3.
8 and 3.
They are a good team.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, just a
Yep.
quick note. Arizona State is
Yeah.
25 in the playoff rankings.
Oh, there
Got
you
it.
go.
Okay, there we
There you
go.
go. Should be a great game. That should be. Those two hate each other just like BYU and Utah, so that should be a lot of fun. And that's Friday, so it'll be some good Friday
Good.
watching.
We got a good weekend of football.
Yes,
and
we do.
basketball. My gosh.
Good food, lots of good games. Houston at Baylor. After this last week, we've seen what Baylor did with Arizona. I think Baylor has mailed it in. I've got to go with Houston in this one, even though it's at Baylor. Houston's not playing great ball either, but I think Baylor's. I don't know. The fire's not there, and I don't know. They just don't. Houston's been a pretty solid team this year, so I think I'm going to go with the Houston Cougars there at Baylor.
Yeah, I like it's a good pick. I've picked Baylor multiple times this year, and they have disappointed every single time. I
Yep.
thought, Avery Johnson and is it Nate Robertson, I believe, is the quarterback at Baylor.
I think that's correct.
Both have been really disappointing. And I know it's more than a quarterback game, but man, I thought they would have had way better seasons. So you give me the Red Cougars on this one too.
I'm going with Baylor on this one. It was a coin flip. I don't think either one of these teams are in that great of a spot. I'm just going with the home team. If I'm being 100% honest, I think Baylor pulls away.
Yeah. Good pick.
Could happen. Cincinnati at TCU. This one, man, TCU went to Houston last week, pulled off the upset. That was a close game. Again, just reiterating, I think TCU is a good team. Cincinnati is a good team. So here's where I'm going with my pick for TCU is Cincinnati. The hype of the game, big noon kickoff, playing against the Cougars, hard-fought battle. They didn't win. They're knocked out of the conference championship race. I think there's a letdown. They go to TCU, and TCU takes care of them at home. I think it'll be a good game. Cincinnati is a quality team, but I think all that factored in, it'll be tough for them to bounce back at TCU.
Yeah. Man, I'm kind of wanting to change my pick, to be honest. I don't know. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm picking Cincinnati. Man, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a great game. TCU, Cincinnati, both great teams.
Yeah.
And just a credit to BYU for beating them both. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
When are we going to get some love for beating these teams?
Amen.
Anyway, it's going to be a great game. I think it'll be a close one. Cincinnati is not going to kick any field goals, so they were going to go for it on a fourth down that gets them a score and wins this game.
I'm gonna give that kicker some love because yes, he missed two. There was a holding issue on whatever the holding the football issue on the third one. So I feel bad for that guy. I think he made 24 straight prior to that. I think Cincinnati comes and wins by a field goal this game, and he gets his redemption.
Redemption for the kicker from Cincy. It
Man,
could happen.
brutal.
I think this is going to be a great game. Quite honestly,
Yes.
it's just, yeah. Like I said, that's you. Well, you heard my logic for picking TCU, but it could go either way.
Yeah, good game.
So the big game this week in the top. Well, there's a lot of good games, but this one was when you got number 1 playing Ohio State at number 15 Michigan, which everybody wants to claim this is the best rivalry in college football. I'll argue that, but it's a good one. It's right up at the top. Ohio State they're a good team. They're a really good team. But you look at their schedule again. I go back to that Big Ten schedule. Who have they played?
They haven't played anyone.
They haven't played anybody. And I haven't really looked at Michigan's schedule to see who but they're ranked 15th. I know this is going out on a limb, and Ohio State always plays good, but I think at Michigan, Ohio State hasn't played a tough team. I think Michigan has a chance to beat them here, so I'm going with Michigan. It's at Michigan in Ann Arbor. I know the game last year went to Michigan, and Ohio State's out for revenge, but when you don't play a tough schedule and you don't have those tests week after week, I think when you get in a big game, sometimes it hurts you.
Yeah. It's a good pick. I mean, I'm really back and forth. I want to pick Michigan really bad. Obviously, I want them to win because I hate Ohio State and I want to see number 1 lose every time. But I just think 0-5 against Michigan, I just don't think Ryan Day can keep his job, no matter how many national championships he wins. And I just, it's stranger things have happened in rivalries. We've been on the receiving end of a 0-9 against Utah. And back in the day, Utah was on the receiving end of a 9-0 for BYU over them. So crazy things can happen in rivalries, and Michigan may go 5-0, but I just think they're pissed off enough, and I think Ohio State will find a way to win this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild one. I actually look forward to this particular rivalry every year. It's such a fun football game to watch. It is the closest thing to the Holy War, in my opinion. Other rivalries, I just don't see as much. I don't feel the hype as much. This one feels like the Holy War, and so I enjoy this game. I think Ohio State's a better team, and so they come out and win.
I will say, having served my mission in Ohio, when that rivalry game was played, you didn't bug anybody. Mm-hmm. Missionary work did not happen on that Saturday, Bill. You probably would have got thrown off the step and down and shot. That was, yeah, you don't bug people on that day.
That's true.
Underdogs. Well, so this week, I don't know, Notre Dame. I mean, it really bugs me. They won the game by that far last week, but Syracuse is horrible. So I'm looking at Notre Dame at Stanford. Stanford's a 32.5-point dog. And maybe Notre Dame goes and beats them by that far, but I don't think so. I think Notre Dame's going to cover. Stanford won this weekend 41-10 over Cal. I don't think Stanford is that bad of a team that they're going to go out on their home field, lose the last game of the season, and that might make them bowl eligible. They might be at 5 wins right now. I don't know that they beat them, but they're not going to lose by 33.
Yeah. Would love to see a Stanford upset. Mike.
Oh, I would love it. That would just put the cherry on the top.
That would be so incredible.
That would be.
I love it.
Awesome.
Well, this week I'm going Miami Pitt. Pitt is 6.5 underdog at home. They're playing for the ACC championship. I believe if they win this game, that will seal them into the ACC championship game. and that moves them into a potential bid for the playoff if they win. So I just think there's too much on the line for Pitt. Carson Beck, he's going to have another one of those games. I predict a lot of interceptions. Pitt's going to win that one.
It's a good one. I'm going with the Georgia Tech-Georgia game for multiple reasons. Number one, it's a rivalry game. These two also go at it pretty heavily during this game. Georgia Tech is underrated, in my opinion. I think they're a better football team than what they're given credit for, and I think Georgia is overrated. This Georgia team lost to Alabama. This Georgia team barely beat Florida. This Georgia team barely beat Tennessee in overtime and only beat Austin Peay by like 21 points. They're not that good. I don't think they're that good. And because it's a rivalry, I'm picking Georgia Tech to win outright, even though they are 13.5-point underdogs.
Love it.
Going for the kill.
I'd love to see all three of these upsets. I'd love to see them. That would be awesome. All right. Well, great pick'ems. It's going to be an exciting week. Good week of football for Thanksgiving. My gosh.
Yeah. One last one to throw out there to keep an eye on, just because of the Lane Kiffin controversy with all the coaching contract and is he coming back? It's the Egg Bowl. Old Miss, Mississippi State.
Go Mississippi State, baby.
Is Old Miss distracted enough with all the Lane Kiffin stuff that they lose to Mississippi State? That would be so weak. Anyway, just throwing that out there.
Go Bulldogs. All right. Well, good stuff. I'm excited for this. Move on to some basketball talk. My gosh, have we got a basketball team?
I want to hear it live, Houston. I want to hear it.
Yes.
I want people to see it. We're gonna clip it and we're gonna share it on social media. Why don't you give the people a taste of what you texted me after that game?
Oh, I'm gonna have to look back on the tape so I don't screw myself.
Meme. It was a Shrek meme, and
okay, all right, I got you. Yeah, well, it's Donkey singing that I'm a believer, baby.
Yes.
I'm a believer. I've had my doubts. I've had my issues all off season. I've made it very clear that I was worried about this team, worried about how they would play together with the stars and everything like that. I don't remember if we touched on UConn a little bit last week. I think we did. And, it feels like a win to play that well in the second half against a team that good. Defensively in that second half, we played incredible. This game against Wisconsin, which they played last week, the defense has been the best I've ever seen at BYU. Our defense was incredible. So the score on that game was 98-70 in BYU's favor. Anytime you score 100 points in a college basketball game, you're doing something right. And that is with a very large asterisk next to it that A.J. DeBonta did not play 10 minutes in the second half because of foul trouble. So I'm a believer.
Number 23, Wisconsin. This was not just a team. And then the other star you put on that is we're down a starter, and Kebaketa played limited minutes because he still hadn't practiced all week. So, And then we still dominated. There's guys coming off the bench that I knew their names, but I didn't know much about them. I tell you what, the bench is going to be good.
Yes,
they played some great minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I am so hyped with this basketball team. I can barely control it. Because just listen to these stats for a sec. We shot 47%, almost 48% from the field total. We shot 41% from 3-point. And we shot 76% from the free throw. We caused 12 turnovers against Wisconsin, out-rebounded them, out-assisted them. Our smallest player on the court had 11. He almost had a triple-double. He had 11 assists, 7 rebounds, and 10 points. That's Rob Wright III.
Wow.
And to Houston's point, AJ was, not a factor for probably 10 minutes. And even then it was pretty limited. And he came out and still had 18 points. Yeah. I think we found something in the second half of that UConn game. And it's special. This was, to what Gordon said, a top 25 team. Again, we're in the early stages of the season. I get that. But they had already won 5 games in a row. So this was an undefeated top 23 team, Big Ten, Wisconsin, and we destroyed them.
I mean, we beat them by 30.
Close. Yeah, it was not even close. Not even for a second.
Yeah, it was a thrashing. And they're a tall team, and to our rebound that team, I can't. And Houston started off with it. The defensive performance, that to me was the star of the game. I mean, all of our guys we've talked about, Richie Saunders, who was a stud, but the defensive performance to hold a team to 70 points, that been averaging I think it was 93 points a game is what they were averaging coming in. Of course, it was going to go down, but still, defensive performance was impressive.
I know they're averaging 90 points. They hadn't lost a game in November in 5 years or something.
Yeah,
they were second in the country in wins in November, something like that.
And Richie, man, I said it last week. I wanted to see some production from Richie, and he balled out. Richie had a phenomenal game. Phenomenal.
And I think on the offensive end, I think what I've seen improve the most is the takes to the rim. It felt like early on in the games and early in the season, even in the first half of UConn, guys were just rolling into the basket, just expecting something to happen. I'm just going to roll in there and I'm going to throw the ball up and hopefully something happens. I get a foul or it goes in or whatever. I thought that our offensive production this game, obviously scored 100 points, was so much better. Ball movement, player movement. Obviously, we shot pretty well from the 3. And I still, as good as, Kennard Davis and some of these other guys are, I just don't know why Dawson Baker has to come off the bench to prove himself. He did last year, and he came in and he produces. He's up there with Richie as one of the most efficient scorers in the league. And he plays great defense, and he doesn't turn the ball over. So to me, I think Dawson, regardless of who was in front of him, should have already been getting more minutes. He's just a great player. So shout out to Dawson.
Yep. I was just going to bring that up.
How do you say that tall kid, the freshman kid's last name?
Boop.
The M is silent?
So. I think the M is silent.
Yeah, I think it's just Boop.
Holy crap, he's going to be good.
He's an animal.
I don't know how long we've got that boy, but he's a freshman and he is a unit. He was fun to watch.
Yes.
Feisty. Loved his feisty fight.
Oh, that loose ball when he was all over him and then just got up, pumping the crowd up. By the way, at the Delta Center, it's basically a home game, but
Diamande played with some fire. I really liked him coming off the bench. I got to see, how do you say Kosic? Is that how you say his name?
I believe. You're talking about Maruss?
No.
Yes. No.
So that's Maruss is number 2.
Yeah,
Kosic, he came in at the end of the game and hit a couple threes. He's the European player.
Oh,
solid.
That's right. That's right.
Maruss, I can see him being a fire if he can make his shots, but he's just throwing them up for a prayer. And Boskovic saw very limited minutes. I don't know what's going on there, but he's been cold prior to this game too. Got to see some improvement from those boys, but man, we've got some bench players stepping up, and we are solid.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think Boskovic is kind of going through what he did last year. There were games where he didn't see the floor at all, and then there were other games when he came in and was a really big factor. So I got to think it's a matchup thing. They're just deciding who they're going to play. But so Maruss and Kosovic, or whatever his name is, it looks like those guys have got a pretty good shot. And if they can get in the flow and they play some more games, it's kind of that European factor. You've kind of got that Peja Stojakovic, like they're just going to come out and knock down threes no matter what. So it's kind of be exciting to see that a little bit as the season goes forward.
Yeah, to give Maruss a little break there. He was at the University of Idaho last year.
Mm-hmm.
Transfers, so now he's getting his first taste of real big time basketball. I'm sure the speed of the game is much faster than what he's experienced there. It looks like to me each game he's getting a little more comfortable. The last game here against Wisconsin, he finally hit a couple threes, but he's starting to look like he's getting in the flow of the game. So,
Yeah, keep letting him shoot it
Yep.
within reason. I mean, there was probably 1 or 2 shots that I'm like, okay, reel it in just a little bit. But I'm a huge advocate for letting shooters shoot until they get hot. Like,
Yep.
keep doing it. Have no problem with that. And then he'll be a big factor once he gets hot.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed. No, super excited for the basketball team. And the exciting thing is with all the players we have on the bench and just kind of what I mentioned earlier with Mihailo and some of the other players, the coaches just know how to match up. And so I think we'll see a lot of rotations this year depending on who we're playing and what we need to put on the court. But my biggest excitement is the defense. We should be good defensively. We're one of the tallest, longest teams in the country defensively. And so we got to play good defense like we did against Wisconsin. So
Yeah.
Anyway, exciting. Well,
excited to see this week to see what happens. So we got games on Thanksgiving and the day after play Miami back in Florida at the Terry's Chocolate Invitational back there. My expectation now is, Dayton and Georgetown are the other 2 teams in there. I'll be disappointed if we don't
win the tournament.
Yeah, win the tournament and do so in blowout fashion.
Yeah.
Maybe my expectations are way too high, but I'm looking at those teams thinking, dang, if we don't beat our Miami by 20, I'll be a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing about that and the way that we're thinking, because I agree, I think the same thing. I'm like, we should go win that pretty handily. Miami, Georgetown, and Dayton are all bracket teams. They're all
year after year.
They're all in the dance every year, it seems like.
Yep.
And so, like, we're playing solid competition here. It's not like a cupcake tournament by any stretch. But yes, I do agree that we should go in and dominate that pretty heavily.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I'm excited, man. Just a good week of sports. Got tons of Friday football, got Thursday basketball, Friday basketball. It'll be fun. So, well, before we wrap up, do we want to do a quick buy or sell here to finish it off?
Oh, I got to buy. I'm down.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, we'll start with you, Jay. Set us up with that buy.
I'm buying Kevin Young. On the basketball topic, Kevin Young, I am a huge advocate for a coach who gets fired up. Like, there is nothing cooler than when Kalani's fired up on the sideline, or when Kevin Young, in particular in this Wisconsin game, is chest bumping Boop after he does his thing. Like, he is fired up. He's passionate. He's coming in and screaming and yelling with the boys. We've missed that in basketball, and not to harp on Rose at all. Like, he legendary. With what's the guy that went with Pope? Pope was pretty fired up too, but liked the suit and kept things, kind of mediocre and yada, yada, yada. I love Kevin Young's energy. I love what he's doing with the program. Obviously, it's working. We're getting incredible talent at BYU like we've never seen before. Someone's tweet, and I'll quote it. It said, "This is not your grandpa's BYU anymore." And I could not agree more.
Yeah. He's brought us into the modern era of basketball.
Yes.
He really has, with the recruiting and like you said, the fire for the game and just the knowledge. You don't become an NBA coach just because,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty awesome. We'll send it to you, Dad, for a buy or sell.
Well, it's on the fly here. My buy is going to be Kiana Tanavasa. He was maligned much of the season. What has he done for us? D linemen never get much credit for anything, even if they're doing their job. But the last 2 or 3 games, he has balled out. He was the one on the 4th and 1 that he spun off a double team and wrapped the guy up with one arm and tackled him. He's been a difference maker for us. Love the guy. Love his attitude. Love that he's humble. Love that he gives credit to his teammates and just balling out for us. And he's made a huge difference in the last 2 or 3 games. And he had to learn a whole new system. That's the thing that I think we all forget. This was his first year at BYU and Jay Hill's system. You have to learn the scheme and know where your assignments are. And I think he's finally done it. So I get a strong buy on him, Kiana Tanavasa. He's balling out.
I like it. Yeah, it is. There's something to be said for that. Jay Hill's got a quite complicated scheme, and he's mentioned as much. So it takes quite a bit to get in there. So yeah, I think he's played great the latter half of the season.
Yeah.
I was one of those critics early on for sure. Love it. Well, I'm gonna go to the world of sports media here for my cell. Jason knows where I'm going with this, but I don't even know the guy's name because I can't stand to listen to him. But whoever Locked On has
JT
got,
Wistersill,
thank you,
man.
JT Wistersill for Locked On Utes has got to be the most pompous, pea-brained idiot that has ever done sports media. He is just a complete imbecile, and he embarrasses himself every time he turns on the camera and talks into that mic. He epitomizes what you hate about a Utah fan. And I know the rivalry, and I hate Utah. There are a lot of good people out there that cheer for Utah. JT is not one of them. and for him to just get on and get away with spewing nonsense every time the Locked On crew gets together, and poor Drake and the rest of them have to sit there and try to rein in this guy. It's like the guy in the corner that nobody wants to be there, but you have to let him there because he's part of the group project. I mean, he's just an idiot. He doesn't talk football. He doesn't talk numbers. He doesn't talk anything substantial. It's just boneheaded Ute whatever every single week.
Delusional.
Delusional. I mean, just absolutely delusional. So yeah, that's myself.
Good self.
Yeah.
And the poor Ute fans, I feel bad because they don't have a good media presence as it is, and then they have this guy. And in the comments, every time there's a video, the first 12 comments are Ute fans. How did we get this guy? Can we get a new Locked On Utes? Like, I mean, even their own fan base hates him. So I'm selling JT, and I hope he hears this because, dude, you suck. You really suck.
So here's just the epitome of Utah fans. They are booing their team at home against Kansas State. 3 times in the game, the fans start booing their home team, their own team, the Utes. So there you go.
The announcers even were like, "I've never seen anything like this."
Exactly.
Like that was actually pretty crazy. That was wild.
Yeah. Anyway, well,
good times, boys. Good times.
Fellas.
Good.
Yeah.
Go Cougs, man. Just go win.
Yes,
and let's make it to Texas, and I will see you there.
Yes. Jace will be there in Texas to watch that championship game. So great pod, fellas. So excited. This week's going to be awesome. Basketball Thursday, Friday, rolling into football. My gosh. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there this week. Enjoy it. Man, just grateful to be a Coug fan right now.
Yep.
So,
thankful to be a Coug.
that's right. Go Cougs, baby.
Go Cougs.